Twice a sinner, half a saint. Golden light and angel's face. We're all the same. How are you today? I'm going to start off this video as a little bit of a vlog, but then we're going to move on to my desk and then we're going to finish it off with like the Q&A that you guys submitted. So just bear with me, this is going to be a bit of a, bit of a different kind of structure. But if you have clicked on this video, then you probably know that I have a puppy, and that is not a hippo or a lion or a bear or a horse in my house. That is a puppy, yes. So you've probably seen it on my Instagram. If you haven't, you should go and, follow me over there. Dog updates all the time. He is literally my life now. He is my whole personality. He is everything. But you guys know that I have put out a Q&A box and you have submitted me some questions. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. I'm going to show you him, show you where he sleeps and things like that, which hopefully will answer some questions. And then we're going to get into the actual questions. First of all, here he is, the Sleeping Beauty here. This is our 11-month-old Cane Corso named Detro. He has been sleeping for the past hour or two because he is, again, just a puppy, and we take him out three times a day. 3 times a day. Once in the morning when he wakes up, when I wake up, for his usual toiletries, and then we take him out for like a longer middle day walk where he plays with his frisbee and stuff, and then we take him out on a night time just before bed. But he is the biggest, the softest dog you will ever meet. He is absolutely wonderful. So, like I said, he does not eat until... hunting for good light, there we go. He does not eat until we tell him to eat. He's very, very good. He has had some basic training. I'll talk about that in a minute, but we train him all the time. Like, we train him every single day because he's a big boy, so he needs to be well trained. Now, in terms of food, a lot of people were like, hey, are you going to feed him vegan? No, again, we'll talk about that in a minute, but I'll just show you the kinds of food that we have for him and what I feed him. So in terms of dry food and the kibble, he's only ever had kibble since he was a baby, but we are trying to get him off of that, and we are trying to give him actual proper nutritional rich food that is more... you can hear him like sighing in the background, that is more in line with his natural diet, and also just better for his immune system and things like that, like meats and vegetables and stuff like that. So that's the kibble. I'll put a picture here somewhere, and we're getting him off just kibble to kibble and other things, but we need to do this very, very slowly. We tried a little bit too quick. We gave him some like chicken and some beef on the first night that he was here, and his tummy was like, no, I've never eaten this before. He's all good now, obviously he's absolutely fine, and we have been to the vet. He's a stunning 125 pounds, and oh my god, it's incredible just even saying that, knowing that he's not even a year old yet. He's actually a Halloween baby, so on the 31st is his birthday, so we're gonna have to do something spooky, aren't we? Something cute, so look out for that on YouTube and on Instagram. That's gonna be good. I feel like we should dress him up or something. But yes, so in terms of food, he's fine now. We went to the vet. I've talked to the vet. I always consult with the vet first, because a mother's love can kill a child. I don't want to accidentally give him too much or too little or too quick or too many treats, whatever. So I always talk to the vet first, and they said, yep, sounds absolutely fine. Everything's great. You feed him anywhere from 1 kilogram to 1.5 kilograms, I think 1.4, something like that. So we try to do 2 scoops of kibble a day, or like 2 scoops on the morning, and then like maybe 1 scoop on the night, and then like all these other things that I'll show you in a minute. So we aim between 1 kilogram to 1.4 a day for him, and plenty of exercise and things like that. So in addition to the kibble, this is what he gets. Again, this is all from Amazon. So this is enhanced raw diet formula, working adult dog. These are frozen meals, and this is all just like frozen raw food, so you can literally just give him this. Like, you don't give him anything else, you just open this up and give it to him. He hasn't had these yet because, again, he's not ready for raw just yet, but it's just chilling in the freezer and it's just gonna wait until he's ready. And then I give him also these. This is Vet's Kitchen. Again, everything's on Amazon. This is for basically his joints, his digestion, prebiotics and things like that, all of the vitamins that he needs just to make sure that he's happy and healthy. This is just salmon oil. Again, I've talked about this on Instagram this morning, but basically, because I know a lot of people recommend fish and oil and things like that, he does like it. However, it goes through him too quickly, so he cannot have anything oily just yet. This is just too oily for him, so we need to slowly introduce it, you know, drop by drop, and kind of make sure that his tummy isn't getting upset and things like that. So we do have it, but we don't use it just yet. I also have some sardines and some anchovies for him as well, but again, they are in oil, so we either rinse them before I give it to him just to make sure it's, you know, not oily, or we just wait. And I just, you know, because these kinds of canned food last ages and months, so I'll just wait. But yeah, so that's what he's got here. These are the gravy. These are the training treats. So these are really good quality ones, again on Amazon, but there's no like additives, like nothing, and they are low in calories as well, so that you can, you know, feed him every time that you're training him, and then he's not going to get fat. And then finally, lastly, I have this, and this is basically fruit and veggies mix, just to make sure, again, he's getting everything that he needs to be getting. And it kind of looks like hamster food, but you just basically scoop it out and then just give it to him. It doesn't have any sort of feeding guide, I don't believe, but I just basically give him like less than a handful. Like, I'll just scoop it out and I'll just give him that, and I give him this once a day. So all of these like rich things he gets on the morning so that it can digest throughout the day, and then on the nighttime he basically just gets kibble and like a little bit of pate and maybe like a little bit of vegetable, but nothing too crazy, because I wouldn't want him to, you know, have to go for a poo or whatever throughout the night and then not be able to. Apart from that, he also gets a load of just raw vegetables and raw fruit. The vet said if he's, for example, you know, walking around or hungry, but he's had all his food, which has never happened yet, she said that he can just give him vegetables and fruit because they're not going to gain weight from that, and it's fine. So I was like, okay, but I do give him just little bits of like raw like fruit and veg in his bowl. And like this morning he had blackberries, really like them. He literally eats like he has never eaten before in his life, and I think it's just because he's a pup, but he like attacks that bowl and he loves it. But he's very friendly. We pet him all the time while he's eating, and if you're like near him while he's eating, he just wags his tail. So if he's just eating on his own, his tail's down, and as soon as you walk up to him, he wags his tail. You can, you know, pet him. You can literally stick your hand into the food bowl and he does not care at all. And I think it's because he grew up with a lot of kids, but we generally do not bother him while he's eating, because I think that's ridiculous a little bit. Like, if he's good with us around him, that's fine. He doesn't clearly have any food aggression or anything like that, but I would be a little bit annoyed if I was eating and someone's constantly putting their hands in my bowl. So as long as he's alright, he's not showing any signs of aggression, he doesn't mind us being there, or his, you know, tail's wagging all the time, and then I just leave him. You know, I pet him while he's eating, and then I just sit on the sofa and have my tea or whatever else. But yeah, I think that's everything in terms of food for now. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. And then in terms of like going out and toys and stuff, I will show you his lead and how we set up all of that. So I have like a dedicated bag for all of my dog things, so I'm going to show you that. So this is his collar. Again, this is off Amazon, but I also have a custom collar coming in from Bully something. I'll put a picture here of the company. I can't remember what they're called, because I literally just typed in like custom big breed collar shipping to the UK or whatever, because a lot of them were American or like European, and the shipping was like £50, and I was like, I'm not paying 50 quid for shipping, I'm sorry. But a lot of people have asked why there's a do not pet tag on him, and that is because people stop in the street all the time to pet him. He is the friendliest man you will ever meet. He is so calm, so nice. However, he is my dog, and you will pet my dog on my terms. And so it stops people, it stops people reaching out the hand and going, oh my god, big dog. Because it happens. The first day that we got him, we took him out to the park, and there was a toddler, and Owen can vouch. What did the toddler do? Please.
Yes, which one was that?
The little girl.
Oh yeah, which just ran over to like ran it in.
Yeah, so there was a little girl. I like that you were like, which one? Because there was so many. But basically, there was a little girl. She was no older than like 5, 6 maybe. Maybe 5, and she just went puppy, and she just sprinted at him like a toddler does. And her mum was just looking, doing nothing, and I just politely said, "Hi, can you please take your child away from my dog?" And then she started panicking. She was like, "Oh my god, come back!" And it's like, now you're panicking? Like, you don't know this dog's big. He could swallow her whole. Like, you don't know this dog. Don't just let your child run up to any dog. I don't understand. However, he is friendly. He wouldn't have done anything, but that's not the point. The point is, ask first. You need to ask first. Yesterday we went for a coffee, and there was a family, and Owen was inside ordering food and coffee, and Detro is just sat next to me. You know, he's a guard dog. He's always vigilant. His ears are always up, and he's just people watching. And you know, he looks very majestic. And there was this man, and his wife was going into the cafe, and he sort of hung back with his oldest son that was probably no older than 10. And so he looked at the dog and he said, "Dad, can I go pet that dog?" And I was like, "Oh, he asked. That's so good." He didn't ask me, but still good. He didn't just come over. And the dad goes, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." No, you're supposed to say, "I don't know, son, it's not my dog. Go ask the lady." And so I said, "Please don't pet my dog, because you're not going to pet my dog. Because it's my dog, and I make the rules, and you should say, 'Hey there, is he friendly? Is it okay if I pet him?' Which people do." And I say, "Of course, go ahead." And his tail is wagging, he's licking them, he is so happy. But I do not have the time for entitled people. I do not have time for people just extending a hand and coming over. I do not have time for them to undo the training that I'm doing. Not to mention the fact that you're showing him that he's more important to me, because the first thing you're doing is going over to him and not talking to me first, which is wrong. So again, you're undoing my training. And so he has the do not pet on him because it's my dog and you will ask me first, which works, and it's great. And now he also has, let me show you, also has this chain here. The chain's too big and still a little bit loose. However, we do clip it to the collar, but it doesn't get pulled. So if the collar gets pulled, hello lovely, if the collar gets pulled, he's like stretching, he's just such a big baby, this is usually loose, because this is where his information tag is. So this is all of our info on here, and it just hangs there. It's more of like a necklace than, you know, an actual like collar, or sometimes we don't even clip this onto the collar, so it never gets pulled, it never gets like stuck into his neck or anything like that, because, you know, I don't want him to get choked or anything. He did have a choke lead when we first got him from the original owner, but I just don't like that, to be honest. I think if your dog's behaving well and trained well, then he shouldn't need to be, you know, choked or anything. He also has a little scar here right above his little brow, and apparently that's from just playing too rough with another puppy when he was younger. So this is the lead that I use. It is a little short because I'll tell you why in a minute. He's got two. This one is for city walking, this one's when he's walking next to me, and he walks perfectly on the lead, like I just want to cry. He is so good, he doesn't pull at all, and when you say wait, he just stops, he waits. Amazing. I will show you a video of him. This was the first day that I got him, and this was how he was walking on the way back home. He's lovely. He gets a little bit excited, obviously. Sometimes he's still a puppy, he'll try and pull, but you just say wait, and he just waits. So this one has like a clip like this. You have to move it up and down to lock it, because I am not playing with someone, you know, running up to me and trying to steal my dog. And also it's got like this nice little handle. Everything's from Amazon. It's also got like it's quite hard to pull, because it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like springy, but it's very, very good. It's very comfy, and it works very well for us. So this is the one that we use normally for like day-to-day walking. And then in this bag, this is our dog walking bag. He has his frisbee, which is lovely and full of grass. This is from the last owner, so I was like, okay, we'll use it because, you know, he likes it. And then here this is a 65-foot long lead. So this is literally, I'm not going to take it all out, but you can see this is what it looks like. This is the brand, again, everything on Amazon, and this is just like a normal clip like this, and we basically use this in the park. When we get to the park, you know, we get him to sit, we get him to stare. We do not let him excessively sniff when we are walking, because when we are walking, we're walking somewhere, whether it is to the vet, whether it is just for, you know, a walk around the city, whether maybe we need to go to the post office or do something, we're just walking, and he's walking next to me. You're not sniffing people, you're not sniffing trees, you're not sniffing it, because we have a mission, you know. We're going somewhere, and so you are free to sniff, you are free to do whatever you want when that long lead is on, and he knows that. And so he's lovely and nice and calm when he's next to me. And as soon as we get to the park, you know, we get him into the middle. It's like this big field, and there's never really any people there, to be honest. I think every time I went, there was only one incident when there was another dog there off lead, which I'll tell you in a minute, but otherwise everyone else has the dogs on leads, which is amazing. Please keep your dog on a lead if it has no recall, and even if it does, just keep your dog on a lead. That's why we have this long one. We always keep it in the hand, and we let him, you know, come back and go, but we always have it in our hands so that we can get him back if needs be, quickly and under control. But it's a 65 feet like long lead, and this is basically so that we can like throw the frisbee, and then he can run after it, and he always comes back. And you can even literally just, he never like goes the full length, does he? Like he never goes away from you. Like he always, he's always near you. And even when Owen's walking him, he'll look back to make sure that I'm still there. If I'm walking him, he'll like glance up at Owen, make sure that he's there. So if we have him on the long lead and we start walking away in the opposite direction, he just gets up and walks right next to us. So he's lovely like that. There was one instance when we went out, was it 2 days ago, and there was a woman with, I think it was a Shar-Pei. Yes, it was a small dog, and and I've tweeted about this, and I said, keep your dog on the lead. Like, that's how easy it is. Just keep him on the lead. Because the Shar-Pei started running towards us, and she's like, let's say his name was like Bobby. She's like, Bobby, come here. And the dog obviously doesn't give a fuck, doesn't listen, running towards Detro. Detro sat there like this. He's shy and he's timid. He lived with another dog when I got him. He lived with a dog that was 2 years old, and we believe that he was like the less dominant one. Like he was the one that was a puppy. He's very shy. He's very scared. Like I literally have, I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Yep, there is that bruise right there. That's because he got scared of an elevator or a bin. Can't remember which one, because he got scared of both. Like when you open it, he like freaks out. He doesn't like dark alleys. He's not super confident just yet around new things, and so he saw the elevator door open. He was like, nope. But to be fair, we've we identified these fears and we train him. And so what we do now is every time we walk past the elevator, we press the button, give him a treat. And so now we got him to the point where you can enter the elevator, and then he wants to come out. Not like, he doesn't pull. We can tell he's like, oh, I'm not sure about this. Can we go? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And then, we get him around to the elevator to sit down, press the button, give him a treat. And then he waits to the point now where he gets excited. I pressed the button this morning and he just sat down and was looking at me because he knows that there's a treat, which is great because that's how you associate good things with things that he was previously scared of. So we open the door to the elevator and we just sort of hang around the elevator, give him treats. Sometimes he'll pop his nose in and he'll walk into the elevator, and that's when we give him a treat as well. And so although he's not comfortable to ride in the elevator yet, he's fine to sit in it, he's fine to be around it, he's fine to, he's not super comfortable being there for like too long, but he's really getting good at it. But anyway, so he's quite shy, he's quite timid, so we just sat him down and that Shar-Pei was just running towards us. So I was like, right, can you get your dog? And the Shar-Pei is growling. That's the biggest thing. He's growling, he's showing teeth, he's running circles around Detro and he's growling. I was like, right, clearly he doesn't want to make friends, clearly he's here for the wrong reasons, doesn't want to sniff him, he's just growling, showing teeth, aggressive. And I was like, hi, can you get your dog? And she's like, he hasn't done anything yet. What the fuck do you mean he hasn't done anything yet? Get your dog. I don't want your dog near me. What do you mean? So then I sat in front of Detro, I got him down, laid down, and he just put, didn't he? Yeah. He just buried his head into my tummy, into my t-shirt, and he was just waiting for it to be done. He didn't make a noise. You could tell that he was scared. And so, yeah, and whilst I'm doing that, and whilst he's just waiting for it to be over, he's calm, he's fine. She's running circles around us, chasing the dog. She's trying to catch him on the floor, chasing after him like a child, because he has no recall, he's not on a lead, and he's still growling at me, at Owen, and at the dog. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. I cannot believe it. Keep your dog on the lead. Like, I don't understand. And it's like, Detro is the nicest boy. He is the nicest boy. But imagine if he wasn't. And imagine if he was quicker to react. Like, imagine if this was another dog that's maybe nervous or maybe reactive or maybe has been adopted from like a, you know, an abusive family or something. He's got a bite force bigger than a lion. He's gonna crunch that dog. Like, do you not... Like, it's not even just your dog hurting another dog, it's your dog getting hurt, keeping on the lead. And no, just because he comes back sometimes when there's no one else around, that's not good enough. If he comes back all the time, but only when there's no distractions, that's not good enough. Like, it's ridiculous. And so I got really, really annoyed at that. But as soon as it was over, Detro just got up, shook off, which was good because they're shaking off all the stress and the energy and the, you know, negativity and any tenseness that they got. Also, I've heard, you know, I've just been kind of educating throughout the years, so that's what I've heard. I hope that's correct. And then he was just wagging his tail and playing on with his frisbee and stuff like that. You know, and he was absolutely lovely. He was absolutely fine. A little bit of separation anxiety as well, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. But that's basically it, yeah. And then I'll answer you guys' questions. I'm sorry, this is going to be super long. Also, I was going to show you, he is very, he likes to use his paws a lot, and he's got trimmed claws. Again, they're very nice. You can't hear him when he's walking around or anything like that. But he does just kind of get excited and use his paws, or like, when I tell him to sit, he automatically just like swing his paw at me to like give me his paw. But yeah, unfortunately, that does come with, you know, some, it's an extra large puppy, so you're gonna have some bruising and things like that. But I don't mind, because I know he's not doing it because he's spoiled, or like I know he's not doing it like aggressively or anything. And when you tell him to stop, he just stops. I wanted to show you his setup a little bit, because a lot of people were like, wow, he's so big, like how do you fit him into your apartment? Luckily our apartment, and especially the living room, is very open, so we have plenty of room. We bought him 2 beds. This one's a little bit smaller. We got this one first and realized that he will not fit on that one, so then we bought him a size up, but we still kept that one, so he's got plenty of room. This is an orthopedic bed. It's like a memory foam bed. It's like an egg bed or something like that. The shape of the mattress inside is supposed to support, oh, big stretch, hello, oh, there he is, it's supposed to support like the spine and the back. He's also got his blanket here, which he loves being near the radiator, especially on the morning, because the brick gets quite cold, so he just snuggles right next to the radiator, don't you? Yeah, you do. Goodness, oh goodness, I love your little droopy eyes. And then he's got his little basket. Now in the basket we have IQ games and we have little toys as well. So this is one of his toys, super durable, just like a rope toy. You can see his little tail wag there. And then he has a little cloth here. This is a microfiber cloth. We just use it to wipe his face, because as you can see, he gets like little eye and drool and everything buggers. He is very watery. He's a watery man. And then we have these 2. So this is for nose work. This is, everything's from Amazon also, so just type in like nose work for dogs and things like that, and you'll find these. This is just felt, so it's all super safe, hypoallergenic and things like that. And you basically just put treats in here, just all around, and then he has to sniff them out. And then this one is basically kind of the same. You put the treats in, you cover them, and they have to slide it around and obviously get the treats. This is good for boredom breaking, good for IQ, good for, you know, cognitive stimulation and things like that. These balls are from, where are they from? TK Maxx. They're from TK Maxx. You can get so many good, I think it's TJ Maxx in America, isn't it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that in America it's TJ Maxx, but you can get loads of good deals on all kinds of different things. These were actually, I'm pretty sure, like handcrafted, so they were handmade. Lovely, honestly, the quality is amazing. And I think one of them was £20 and the other one was like 16 or something like that. They were super cheap, especially for, you know, this size. These balls come out as well, so you can clean them, you can take them out, whatever. So that's what he has, and we just put his little towel, because a lot of the time it's raining and stuff like that, so he's got his own like dedicated towel, and then we just put it under the bowl, because obviously he's a big boy, he's got massive cheeks, so every single time he drinks or eats, it is all over the floor, like all over the floor, all over his face, everywhere. This little bit is just to show you that we don't feed him any human food, we don't feed him at the table, we don't feed him when we're eating, and majority of the time, if not every single time, we put him to bed first, and every time if he comes anywhere near the food, we just get up and put him back into bed, so then he doesn't associate that he can, you know, like beg for food or whatever. He's not allowed anywhere near us when we're eating, so just to stop him from being annoying if we've got people over and stuff like that. Hey everyone, okay, so I have actually filmed this before, but the file got corrupted, so I'm refilming it, and this is from my Instagram. So I'm looking at the notes here, and if you want to get involved in any type of communication with me off of the YouTube channel, or even like for my Q&A and things like that, everything's always on Instagram. Giveaways, everything's always on Instagram, so if you want to check it out and, you know, follow me there. And then also if you want to check out Detro's Instagram, because I will be updating his training journey, his raw food journey and things like that over on his Instagram. We do have a behavioural assessment specialist coming in just to assess him, make sure that he's fine, you know, make sure that he's on track, socialise with him, socialise him with other dogs in a safe, controlled environment, practice his recall and things like that, and just, you know, give us tips as to what we should do to make sure that he is at the optimal, you know, training place that he needs to be. So if you want to follow that, you want to, you know, kind of follow that journey, you are more than welcome to check these out. Now let's get right into this. So Detro, where did the name come from and what does it mean? It is basically just to honour a dog that my dad had when he was a police officer. It was his K9 dog, I believe, and he just speaks very highly of that dog. It was his family dog, he absolutely loved him, and it was just a way to honour him. How big is he going to get? Well, he is at 120 to 125 pounds. I'm not really sure how pounds work. He's a 55 kilogram or 56 kilogram, something like that. I think 55.7, like somewhere around there. And so weight wise, he is on the thinner side, like he's fat, like he's a healthy weight, but if he gained a little bit, it would be good, you know, like I would be happy with him gaining a little bit of weight, as long as he's not losing weight, because he's on that like a little bit on the thinner side. But again, we had his vet appointment and she said that everything's absolutely fine. If he gains a little bit, that's great. If he doesn't, that's absolutely fine too. And in terms of like height, I think he's reached his height, and I think he's reached obviously the like weight that he's going to be for the majority of his life. I do think that he might like just widen up a bit and like bulk up a bit, because he's still got a very, very young face, but generally this is what Google says about his breed, and you know, we're prepared. If he gets bigger, that's absolutely fine, and if he doesn't, that's absolutely fine too. How much training does he need? So he knows how to sit, he knows how to lay down, he knows how to stay, he knows how to like leave something, he knows how to drop something. He's like toilet trained, so he doesn't do anything in the house, he waits for when we go outside. He doesn't need a lot of training at all. It's mostly just little touch-ups here and there. I just want to have a dog that is immaculately trained, and it's such a subjective question as well, because it's like, well, how much training does your dog need? Like, it's up to every owner, right? For some people, as long as they don't poo in the house, that's enough training, and as long as they can sit down. If you have someone who works in the military, like they need the dog to be able to like, I don't know, like drop down in the middle of chasing after a ball or something. Like it just all depends on your lifestyle and your kind of training methods. To me, this is not what he's got, is not enough training. I want him to be trained better. I want a dog that he could be chasing after something and I would, you know, call him and he would drop everything and come back. Like, I want his recall to be immaculate. I want a lot of things to just be spot on, and that's why we are hiring a specialist and, you know, working with someone who knows how to do that and is an expert. He's also a personal protection dog. I also want him to, you know, be that partner for me, like my partner in crime, you know, like that partner in life where I am safe and it makes me feel safe and I can go out at any time, and I've got him there. And, you know, he is naturally very protective because the breed was bred for that purpose, but I just want to, you know, make sure that my dog is trained and make sure that my dog is my guard dog as well. Like, in short form, he does still need some training, but the basics are completely done. It's just everything extra. But in my personal opinion, for him to be up to my standards, he still does need a bit of training. Will you feed him a vegan diet? Why or why not? And what about raw food? No, I will not be feeding him a vegan diet because he is a dog. He needs to eat meat. Can they survive on a vegan diet? Yes, they can, absolutely, but it takes a lot of work and it's unnatural for them. I find it so incredibly stupid. If you would like a vegan pet, then get a rabbit. Do not get a carnivorous pet, an omnivorous pet. If you're only going to force a vegan diet onto him, that's completely ridiculous in my opinion. He eats raw food, but, and this is very important, if you're going to feed your dog raw food, please consult with your vet, and also don't do it at home, in terms of don't prepare it yourself at home. Don't just go to your butcher's and get him random stuff. I've heard that that's very dangerous. I've heard that that way they can get sick. I get my mixed raw food already prepared by a company. So yeah, no, he will absolutely not be vegan. He enjoys meat, he loves it, and he currently is eating half and half, so half cooked and kibble and half raw diet. He really enjoys it. If you again follow me on my Instagram, you can see him literally licking the bowl clean every single time. He loves it. So yeah, hope that answers your question. What made you choose the breed, and did you consider others? Yes, so we first considered German Shepherd because my dad had German Shepherds working with the police, and then we considered a Doberman. We decided that the German Shepherds were just too hairy and it was just too much of a maintenance for us. We just don't like hairy dogs, like the long-haired dogs. We're just not really big fans. I had a long-haired Chihuahua before and she shed like mad, and she was literally this big, and so I was like, okay, from now on, I'm just not doing that. And then we considered Dobermans because again, love them. Again, excellent guard dogs, very protective, very loyal. However, they do have some inbreeding problems, especially with the heart, and I do believe that the heart conditions that are very common are not talked about enough, because I didn't know about them until I started digging deeper and deeper and talking to some of the breeders, talking to some of the long-term owners and long-time owners, people who had Dobermans for a long time, and many of them, and they said that it is a big factor. And I was like, okay, maybe not then. Just like I wouldn't want to have a pug because of all the inbred problems. I wouldn't want to have a Doberman if it's if it means that it's going to have a lower quality of life. It just wasn't for me. And so then I started, I came across an Instagram, I think, of a Cane Corso, and I was like, I've never seen this breed before. And again, started researching, started contacting breeders, started talking to people who have had the breed for a long time and specialize in it, talking to just people who knew their stuff more than I did, because obviously I was completely new to it. And then, decided that this is the dog that I wanted, and this is the dog that we ended up getting. But I'm very happy with our choice because he is just the best boy. Was he adopted? What is his story? Yes, so we have said, because we didn't want to put money in breeders' pockets, basically. A lot of I don't know if this is the case in America or any other parts of the world, but here you can literally log on to Gumtree and backyard breeders will give you puppies, and it's really sad. They're not bred responsibly, and it's just two friends getting together being like, I've got the same dog, do you want to just make puppies? And they're like, yeah, sure, and then we'll split the profit, and sell them on eBay. It's just ridiculous. And so I really didn't want to do that. So my first option was adoption, but there wasn't many to adopt. Honestly, there wasn't that many where you could adopt them. There wasn't any rescue available, and so I was getting a little bit agitated, and I was a little bit like, what do I do? And I was leaning over to looking for responsible breeding, but again, it just didn't sit right with me. And then eventually I have found a lady who unfortunately couldn't keep him anymore. She had two and she couldn't keep them because she was moving. She had a lot of children, and she was like, my children come first and I just need to move, and we unfortunately can't take him. And I was like, do you know what, that's absolutely fine, I will take him from you. And so that's what we did. And so he is I guess we could say he's adopted. We didn't buy him, so we didn't buy him from a breeder. We just bought him from someone who couldn't unfortunately take care of him anymore. But yeah, so that's basically his story. He grew up with 6 children and 3 other dogs, so he's extremely well socialized. He's definitely not very dominant at all. If we see another dog, he gets quite scared, especially if they bark at him and stuff. So he's not super confrontational or anything like that. So I'm quite happy with that, because if he was very dominant and very confrontational and weighed 125 pounds, that would be a problem, and that would be definitely a lot more training that was needed in that case. But he's absolutely fine. So yeah, that's kind of his story, and now he's with us and he's here to stay. What made you get a grown dog instead of a puppy? He is still a puppy. He is only 11 months old. He is just massive. And also, I am not bothered about whether the dog that I'm adopting is a puppy or not. I'm not really big on puppies. I think they look cute, of course they do, but there's so much more that goes into this. When you have a puppy, you need to train them from scratch. You need to like toilet train them. You need to, you know what I mean? It's just so much. Like you need to work on the separation anxiety, and I believe that a lot of people get puppies and spoil the absolute rotten hell out of them, and then they end up with completely misbehaved dogs. I've seen it happen so many times, and I was just like, no thanks. So I have no problem adopting a dog that's 5, 10. I mean, Bella, when I adopted her, was 12 and she lived till 15, and she was still literally one of the best dogs I've ever had. Like, I loved her so much. So I am really not bothered about it, and I would actually even go as far as to say that I would rather take a 1, 2 or 3 year old dog or an older dog rather than a puppy, honestly. Because do they look cute? Yes, absolutely, they look cute, but my god, the kind of work that goes into it is incredible. And so, you know, that's just my personal preference. What is the hardest thing about owning him? Definitely the responsibility of him being so big, and the responsibility of how important his training is, because you cannot let a dog like this be spoiled. You cannot let a dog like this push your boundaries, walk all over you and things like that, because, you know, if you allow this dog to start showing signs of aggression or resource guarding or anything like that, then you are in for deep trouble. And definitely, you know, people can get hurt, other people can get hurt, you can get hurt, other dogs can get hurt, and it's absolutely no joke. So I think it's just a responsibility that's like, sometimes you just want to cuddle him, sometimes you just want to get him into bed and whatever, but it's like, you know, you can't, you just can't, because unfortunately you'll start showing very quickly, and the consequences are a lot bigger. Because like, if a chihuahua bites you, you know, it's not great, but it does not have anywhere near the same impact as if a cane corso bites you. So yeah, I think it's just that. But in terms of him personally, I think it's just the problems that we have with him, for example, getting bored on a walk, or like hyperfixating, just little things like that, again, that are being addressed with a professional. So really, there's not really anything. Like, I'm really enjoying everything about him so far. And again, he's just a puppy still, so we're having a good time. Mum or dad, who's the favourite? Definitely mum. Definitely. He is such a mum's boy. And I don't know if it's because he lived in a household where it was just like a single mum, and so she was the head of the household. I don't know if that's what it is, or I don't know if it's maybe because it's a boy, but he genuinely like has to keep an eye on me all the time. Like, he's always following me, he's always looking at me, and so he's definitely got more of a bond with me than Owen. Is he cuddly, and where does he sleep? He is very cuddly. He absolutely loves getting a head massage. Like, I will literally like go like this on his head, and he's just like he's so cute, he's so funny. And yes, he sleeps in his bed like I showed you in the beginning of the video. So I hope I answered some of those questions already as well. Are you gonna get him fixed? I have absolutely no idea. I don't know. Do I want him to like breed? Do I want to have puppies from him? No, absolutely not. I don't think so at all. And I've also heard mixed reviews on fixing. I know that it can decrease some health risks, but then it can increase others, and so I don't know yet, honestly. I'm going to talk to my vet about it as well, because I honestly don't know. What about Maya? Is she living with you? No, Maya is with my parents. Maya has always been with my parents. Obviously we had to unfortunately put Bella down a while ago because she was sick, she had kidney failure, but she was 15. I literally thought that she was 12 this whole entire time, and then when we were moving I found her documents and she was 12 on adoption, and then she was with us for 3 years. So she was literally 15. She had like no teeth. Like, she cheated death a few times, I think. But yeah, so, and then Maya has always been living with my parents, and then when I was at uni, she would come to me sometimes, then she'd go to my parents, then she'd come to me, and because they were living here at the time as well, so, you know, it was like she would just come either from their house to my house, or my house to their house. She loved it, and, you know, they absolutely adore her. I've had her since I was like 10 or something ridiculous. Like, she was born in like 2010 actually, so I think she's like 11, almost 12 now as well. So they've had her for the longest time. They absolutely adore her, they love her, so I couldn't like just take her away from them. Like, that'd be so horrible. So no, she's with my parents. When are you intending on traveling next year? Did your plans change, or do you intend on traveling with him? Thank you so much. I actually got this question a lot, and yes, we absolutely were. So the plan was, and before I even tell you the plan, nothing in my life is very like set in stone, like ever. I literally make new plans every single month. Even for example, last year when we were moving to London, we had like 3 or 4 different options of as to like where we're going to live, and then that option that we set on, that we were absolutely set on, changed 3 days before we moved. So we just do not make like certain plans. We have some kind of idea as to what we want, but we don't make like this is going to happen and we're sticking to it. Like we just don't do that. We're quite spontaneous people. And so the plan was that I was going to be here in Sheffield and, you know, just focus on my YouTube channel, maybe get like a little job, like something super serious, you know, and just save and then move. But you know, we came down and then I was just scrolling on, I can't remember what I was scrolling on, like LinkedIn or something, and I saw this position of a trainee therapist, and I was like, I tick all of the boxes, like let me just apply, and I got it. And so I was like, okay, well, clearly I'm not going to leave after a year, am I? Like now I've got this job, I want to stay here for a little bit longer, you know, I want to get better at my job, I want to, you know, just excel in it, and I want to stick to it for a little bit. And so I was like, okay, let's just, you know, maybe change the plans around a little bit. And so since I'm staying, I was like, okay, well, let's just get a dog. But also, you know, even if like because of Rona and stuff, I don't think we would be traveling that much. Also, if we want to travel, we can travel with him domestically. He, you know, wasn't trained before, he's absolutely fine. He's very social and things like that. So it's not really anything that I don't feel like I'm giving up anything. I think like I'm just changing it slightly, you know. But who knows? Maybe we'll get him, you know, vaccinated and done whatever he needs to do, and then we'll move with him. Like you just never know. I don't see it as much of a problem, to be honest, like at all. I think if you're prepared and if you're thinking ahead, then it's not going to be difficult to do. Are you ever scared he could bite? No, absolutely not. And I have showed you guys before on my Instagram, I can literally put my hands in his mouth, in his teeth, in his ears, like which I do because I need to check them, make sure he's clean and things like that. We can cut his nails, we can do literally anything, and he does not care. Like he doesn't care, like at all. Like you can lay on top of him and he just does not care at all. He never, you know, he gets his whole face wiped and things like that with like vet wipes and like wet things, and he doesn't like any pulls away, but he's never growled, he's never done anything. I can literally take his paws and like do this, and I like stick my finger in between his little like beans just to make sure that he's okay with it and stuff. And he is just the most passive, lovely boy that I have ever met. So I have never been scared of him biting, ever. Would you ever buy a dog from a breeder? I think I'm gonna say yes. I would in certain conditions, under certain circumstances, buy a dog from a breeder. For example, the breeders who are trying to bring back a retro pug, who are trying to reverse the inbreeding characteristics. If I wanted a pug, I wouldn't adopt a pug that is, for example, you know, has all these health conditions and stuff. I wouldn't buy him. I wouldn't buy an original or like a classic pug from anywhere. I wouldn't adopt one. I would opt one to support, you know, I would opt for one that is like retro and like that's supporting a cause like that. I also would probably buy a cane corso pup from a very responsible owner if I really wanted to breed, and if there was none up for adoption. I would probably wait like and try, but if there was, for example, because a lot of the time you can't adopt a dog. Like I realize that a lot of people are like, hey, this dog can't live with children, this dog can't live with other dogs, this dog hates cats, this dog can't be left alone for more than 20 minutes, this dog has this kind of trauma, this dog, whatever. There's a lot of responsibility in that. And if you are someone who can adopt a dog, if you are someone who can devote the time and effort and, you know, personal sacrifices to, you know, undo and like start over a lot of the training, a lot of the experiences, then that's absolutely great, and I salute you for that, and I try to be that person. But a lot of people can't, and a lot of people, like, I know it sounds horrible, but a lot of people just want a puppy. A lot of people want to have that best friend from the moment that they were born, from a very small pup, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as you are being responsible, as long as you're not paying backyard breeders, as long as you're not, you know, doing it irresponsibly. I think that's absolutely fine. So yeah, I think under certain circumstances I would, but I would definitely, you know, try every other route first. That is everything that I have for you guys today. Let me know if you have any more questions. That was all of the questions from you, and I hope you have a beautiful day. I do apologize for the length of this video. Yeah, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.